Ahead in the Glasshouse, a new challenge.
Hey, John, now that you're getting on a bit, would you like to be the spokesman for adult nappies?
What's the next issue?
Metamucil?
What is the next issue?
What about advanced hair?
Yeah.
G'day folks, welcome to the Glasshouse, the program that asks the question, on World No Tobacco Day, is it okay to smoke crack? More news than mountain climbing madness this week. In Canberra, a handful of government MPs are threatening to cause a stink about the Immigration Department's plans to send all boat arrivals offshore. So Amanda Vanstone has promised negotiations with wiggle room, which means we'll still send them overseas, but they get to ride in the boot of the big red car. She added the wiggle room was not the room where they strap refugees to chairs and poke them with cattle prods. They don't have one of those. Probably. The Australian Wheat Board reckons the $290 million it paid in kickbacks to Saddam Hussein is tax deductible. Yeah. Somehow I don't think the best way to prove your innocence is to come up with a bunch of receipts. AWB Chairman Brendan Stewart also said the company would do whatever it's going to take to restore its reputation. Kickbacks for everyone! Next Tuesday is the 6th day of the 6th month of the 6th year of the new millennium. That's right, sinners, 666, the number of the beast. And doomsayers all over the world reckon the time of apocalypse is upon us. Well, actually, it's 6606, the number of the beast who hesitates. But it's also the birthday of Kenny G, conclusive proof the devil exists. And there are signs the apocalypse is coming. War, earthquakes, pestilence, the four horsemen, Bush, Blair, Howard and Eddie Maguire. Philip Ruddock's heart started beating. A train in Sydney arrived on time. And our Prime Minister said he was sorry. OK, it was for the private Kovco debacle, but at least his tongue didn't leap out of his mouth and throttle his brain. The Navy's pressing ahead with its $1 billion Sea Sprite helicopter program, despite the fact crappy software means the choppers are grounded. They can't fly at night or over the sea and are no good for military missions. Turns out we accidentally ordered the sea shite. But Defence is confident the choppers will soon be working properly and says when they are, they'll be able to deliver the wrong body in record time. Congrats!
Tropical news, Willigan. Two blokes from Britain are looking for 5,000 people to form a tribe and take over an island in Fiji. Ben Keane and Mark James want to create a new kind of community, more like the camaraderie between backpackers than a hippie commune. So prospective tribe members must either bring a keg or big tits. All 5,000 people don't actually live on the island. You join the online community, which allows you to visit for a few weeks and vote on how the place is run. And it'll only cost you a minimum of $280. So it's actually like Survivor, except Ben and Mark are the only ones who walk away with $1 million. 5,000 people at $280 each, and yet you make a much smaller group pay the same amount to come to Australia, and that's people smuggling. They want to develop the island in an ecologically sustainable way, which, if you believe John Howard, means they're building nuclear power plants. But it is an untapped virgin paradise, although they've taken that off the website after getting several hundred text messages asking if they need a spin bowler.
Exciting news this week, exciting. You know, in Queensland, the Liberal and National parties have voted to merge. You know, they say misery loves company. Seriously, though, but the federal politicians aren't happy about it. I say be happy. It's only right. I mean, the Liberals have bloody treated the Nationals as their bitch for a long time. It's only right they made an honest woman of them. Seriously. mean, good on the parties going together. I mean, they're possibly going to call it the New Liberals. It's like the old Liberals with added dickheads. Seriously, I mean, who can tell the difference between a Liberal and National anyway? I mean, the only difference is the gumboots. What they're hoping to happen is that as a combined force, they will beat Peter Beattie, the Labor in Queensland. They reckon that, you know, people will think, oh, you get 2 parties for the price of 1 vote. You're not pizzas, people! It's ridiculous. I mean, people are only twice as likely not to vote for you now. It's bloody stupid, I say. I don't really care, to be honest with you. I really don't care. I'm not angry at all.
All right, let's get to it. Joining me, Corinne and Dave, the Frozen Stones in the Glasshouse tonight from Sunrise on Channel 7, everybody's favourite uncle, David Koss. And the ultimate woman of the Australian media, Shelley Horton. All right, movers and shakers. First up, our beloved Prime Minister says time has come for Australia to embrace nuclear power. Howard says nuclear power is inevitable. Beazley says no nuclear power under his government. So, yeah, it's inevitable. John says he'll announce a structure for the nuclear debate soon, which will be him telling us what he thinks, followed by 30 minutes of la 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 la, I'm not listening, I'm not listening, la 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 la, I love cricket. We could be stuck with a toxic problem that hangs around forever. Now we know how Peter Costello feels. Dave, you glow in the dark. Is nuclear power the way to go?
Look, I don't know all the facts, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say I'm not sure.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know. Discuss.
Oh, look, I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, it is time.
Why?
Well, I think if you look at around the world, it's being used everywhere. In 1956, they started it in England, and the Queen opened the first nuclear power plant.
Really?
Since then, Britain's now got 15 power plants, not a single disaster, no problems. So if the Poms can do that in 50 years, Aussies can do it faster, better, cleaner.
Right, so you're just doing it to compete with England. and if anything goes wrong, now we go, oh, we've got our own ashes.
I'm not 100% sure on this whole doing it cleaner thing, because that's John Howard's argument too, that this is... I think he said something like it's the, you know, the most clean way of producing energy. I would have thought wind farms and solar power would have come before that.
Yeah, but you can't produce the same amount of energy that way.
We haven't put enough money into finding out whether you can or not. We're just going to all of a sudden have nuclear reactors everywhere. But it's this idea that it's clean. And you go, we have to dig all these mines to make it. Then we have to put all the waste, the radioactive waste, in holes. What is his idea of clean? Taking a dump in the shower?
You don't have... That's not an image any of us need. Oh, Jeanette, it's happened again.
That's a terrible one.
What's wrong with good old-fashioned coal, which we use right now?
We're using it up, and we're also punching holes in the ozone by using it.
Yeah,
so
but
it is actually environmentally
We can't meet
sound.
the Kyoto protocols
Yeah, but do
using
we
coal.
want to meet it, though? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, just decide not to.
Well, I'm from Melbourne, and winter's very cold, and I wouldn't mind it a bit warmer, to be honest.
Right, so you're in favour of the ozone layer. People in Brisbane going, oh, I can have beachside property.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, I may not even have kids, so, you know.
Isn't the problem with nuclear waste that the waste? Isn't it? Where are we going to dump this waste? And isn't it going to be around like forever?
Yeah, but we're the most stable geography in the entire world.
Yeah.
What does that mean, that we don't have earthquakes?
Well, we don't have
no
earthquakes
plates,
and all that sort of stuff. It's an old country in terms of the geology.
Gosh, I don't want to remind you of something, but wasn't there a little earthquake that trapped some miners down a hole? A couple of weeks ago?
That was man-made. I suppose allegedly man-made.
Our next movers and shakers come from Melbourne, where a bunch of desperate housewives has formed a group called Voice, which stands for Victims of Idiots Who Control Everything. The members of Voice get their husbands to buy them expensive jewellery, take it to a shop which makes cheap replicas, sell the real one and pocket the cash. Well, I suppose husbands have been swapping their wives for cheaper replicas for years. The money they make then goes into the running away from home fund. These sound like marriages where the wives are faking more than their jewellery. Shelley, you have excellent taste. Would you sell your jewellery and hide the cash?
I was amazed when I read this because I thought that's not a news article. That sounds like an extract out of Heather Mills McCartney's diary, the way she ripped off Paul McCartney.
I know, man. She took him for an arm and a leg.
Did she?
How cynical are you people? Maybe they were deeply in love and it just didn't work out because he was 70 and she was 20.
What do you reckon about this, Koshy? The whole, as a finance guy?
Oh, prenups are the way to go, I think.
Really?
It's incredibly romantic.
How
do you bring it up?
Yeah, isn't that like sitting down going, I love you so much that I don't trust you as far as I can kick you, and I think this is probably going to end at some point.
Don't you put it in a Hallmark card, perhaps? Like, rose is the red, violet's the blue, sign this or I'll sue.
Are these women who are saving up so they can run away from their husbands and live... Why don't they, instead of, conning their husbands into buying them jewellery and then hawking it, why don't they, I don't know, get a job?
Oh, now, come on.
There's a reason why you're single, Corinne.
There's a reason why I'm single. What, I have a job?
Yeah.
I went to a seminar on the weekend. It was actually called Rich Chicks, and it's about women empowering themselves to actually control their own finances because...
No, it's to rip their husbands off.
But one of the things that they said is even if you are married, have an account in your own name because it's always important to have that.
Money.
Don't have everything together. And also find out where all the money is.
Do you think?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stunned. It's... You know how you go through different stages of life, 18th birthdays, weddings, 21st. Well, my stage of life, we're going through separations and divorces, lots of friends. And I am stunned and really saddened how many women have no idea about the finances.
Wow, the person with the money has the power, so it's up to women to take the power back and learn about it. Like, it has to be a stage where you go...
Isn't it? It's knowledge.
It is knowledge, but it's also, you have to make it important. So you have to have in your top 5 priorities, being wealthy or knowing about your money has to be there. And it doesn't sit really well with women to have that.
But if the bloke makes it hard for you, then you have a prenup. Because if he's not prepared to tell you and share that information, you don't trust him.
Don't marry him if he won't tell you that. Then what the hell are you doing marrying him? It's like these women who are saying how much your husband earned. Oh, I don't know, what's his name?
Lovely lady.
That's why they're getting divorced.
Personally, if I get married, I will let my wife, that should be my wife then, I'll let her...
Well done.
Control. She can spend whatever she likes. Anything.
You say that
Seriously.
now.
No, I will. Just as long as she doesn't annoy me. Anything. Any price.
Our favourite movers and shakers this week are those fine, upstanding TV networks 7 and 9, who are having a public slanging match over the Beaconsfield miners' story. Well, it's always hard when only one parent gets custody. The low point was a Channel 9 promo which had a go at Koshy, using the line, "We aren't ambulance chasers." No, not 9. They prefer to wait at the hospital than ambush them there. Eddie Maguire shelled out $2 million for the Beaconsfield special. He's got deep pockets. In fact, he's got 3 more miners down there as backup. Seven's offers to the miners even included a role on Dancing with the Stars. Funny, when most people go on dancing, it means their careers are heading towards a dark hole. Koshy, you might know something about this. Are Channel 9 playing dirty?
No, absolutely not. Eddie's a real pro, and I think he's a fine...
Is that short for prostitute?
Yeah. He's a real pro. And he's running a terrific network and,
Are you trying to get a job there?
You never know.
He bought your friend. Todd was your friend and Eddie bought him.
No. The boys had to do the best thing for themselves and their families and things like that. They are terrific blokes, both of them, just sensational. And Eddie had the had the deepest possible.
But does
so,
it get...
so good luck to him and good luck to the guys.
I think it gets a little bit arseholey, though, when... Yeah, that's a technical term.
Eddie, watch your
When you are not allowed to have a cup of tea with them since they've signed the Channel 9 deal. That's arseholey.
I think, you know what I think Channel 7 should have done this? This is what you should have done. You should have offered them $3 million, but they had to guess which suitcase it was in on
Can I ask this? If, say, you had have been able to have a cup of tea with them, and so you haven't been able to, would have you taken a hidden camera with you?
No, absolutely not. And look, during the whole Beaconsfield issue, the whole 2 weeks, Todd's parents and family and wife and kids are all fans of Sunrise. Todd's 13-year-old son, Trent, was having a tough time with his dad there. The younger ones didn't, quite understand the ramifications. The young boy worried about his dad. So we'd spent a bit of time with him, and he bought my joke book, so why not? One of the few.
You sold him your joke book.
No, he already had it. He already had it. He won a book prize the year before a speech night at Beaconsfield Primary
And he
bought the
bought a
joke book. Yeah, exactly right. He's got taste.
My whole issue, though, is that, they're fabulous people, but 7 and 9 have just looked like 2 schoolyard bullies going at it at lunchtime.
We haven't done anything.
Yeah, you're back and forward at each other,
Well, we didn't say a thing.
Absolutely.
I didn't say a thing.
Did you think they wouldn't be?
I think they should actually grow up a little bit because
really?
People watching at
What
home.
did we say? What did we say? What did I say?
No, you didn't, and I'm not criticising you. I'm criticising the publicity department.
Shelley, by the way,
myself
Koshy, Shelley didn't buy your book either.
I'll give you 2.
I seriously think that both 9 and 7 have been going at each other ever since 7 started winning in the ratings, which I think is fantastic. But they're laying into each other and they're just being totally disrespectful to the audience out there. We don't care that you're fighting, we care about the miners. So I hope that with all the kerfuffle that we ended up focusing on these guys at the end story.
Absolutely, and if anyone thinks that I don't talk to Todd, they're stupid. It's... Of course, you talk to each other and things like that, but
what do you think about the cheap shot of the shot of you going into the ambulance?
Well,
it was a cheap shot.
That's for other people to decide.
But it was harsh, wasn't it? Because, you were mates with them. It wasn't like you jumped in. It was like you chased after the ambulance.
No.
The
ambulance comes out. This bugger has been down there for 14 days in a black hole, entombed. The ambulance goes by. He had sent a message up saying, Koshy, you fat prick, be by the quote unquote, be by the gate when we get out. So what do you say? No, stick it. So you're down by the gate. He says, come in. What do you go?
I'm sure that the network was putting pressure on you guys to go, OK, you've got this relationship with them, see if you can con them into signing with us. Do you ever feel at any point that you may have exploited them?
say, God's honour, Scout's honour, whatever, I have never spoken to Todd or Brant about the deal. Never. The week before they got out, their family said, what's going to happen when they get out? I said, you're not going to believe it. You are going to be eaten alive by the media. My only bit of advice is get some professional management to look after you, because you are not going to believe this. And they said, who? So I gave them 5 names. I said, you decide. That's all I'm going to say about it, but you are just going to be torn to shreds. These people are just lovely, lovely families. Really terrific.
I watched some of the TV and I was just like, I've got to be honest with you, if I was going to be stuck down a hole, I'd rather be stuck down with Brant than Todd. I've got to be honest with you.
No, Todd's a really good guy.
What I loved, though, was that Todd was going to cut off Brant's legs. He was happy to do that, but he wouldn't hold the bag when he did poo. Happy to cut off his legs, won't hold the poo bag. What's going on, Johnny?
Everyone's got a line.
I got to say, it was the highlight of my career. That morning was just... It was a buzz. It was part of history.
We've got a souvenir.
Even though we lost $3 million, that is worth a whole lot more. And that's what Todd took off the board. They had this pegboard at the top of the gate when they come out the top of the shaft, where they shift their name tag from the red side to the blue side there above it. And that's what he called me in the ambulance to get me. Now, to me, that is worth a lot more.
Are you going to keep that forever?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
OK, I want to ask, here's a big question, Koshy. We've asked you some hard questions, but this is the big one. They've said that, Todd and Brant have said when it comes to the movie, they want Russell Crowe and Eric Bana. Right? I'm thinking when they cast David Koch, personally, I'm thinking Vin Diesel. But,
Yeah. As long as I can have his car. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with Vin Diesel.
who would you like to see to play?
Vin Diesel, I'm pretty happy with. George Clooney, because he's a bit, he's a bit more mature and sort of my
We
vintage.
just have to get him to shave off the middle of his...
But we need someone with a nice ass.
Yeah. I need an ass double. Is that what you're saying? An ass double?
I can't wait to see them on American morning TV. That is going to be... I love the quote from Brandt during the big interview the other night. He said, when he was down, he just said, I just didn't want to be there. Perfect.
It's going to be sort of Crocodile Dundee.
And my other favourite thing was, like, he talked about all the differences they had and how they were stuck in this hole. But the one he was most upset about, he goes, "And mate, I'm a Holden man, and he's a Ford man."
Later in the Glasshouse, the leader of the Labor Party is suffering from policy constipation.
It's a difficult backdoor. It's not getting any easier.
A barramundi Rex Hunt once kissed reckons the fisherman wanted to go all the way.
Yeah, I would have.
And Paul McCartney gets a new girlfriend from New Zealand and reveals his peculiar fetish.
This year, when the Queen came to the Commonwealth Games, Jeanette Howard twice wore very similar outfits to her Madge. So convincing was Jeanette's transformation, Prince Philip mistook her for his wife and completely ignored her. And at the recent Washington Love Fest with W, Jeanette miraculously appeared to be wearing almost exactly the same pantsuit as Laura Bush. The Glasshouse can now reveal that this is no coincidence. Jeanette Howard is actually a chameleon who can change her appearance at will to blend in with her environment and confuse predators.
When I saw that, I actually thought maybe she was auditioning for a new movie, Single White Female 2. Can you imagine her as the stalker?
Yeah, I'm just worried that she's got a matching green and gold tracksuit too.
Oh, and she goes walking.
Yeah, she goes pouncing around the world with John.
She looks like a nice woman, his wife, you know.
Oh, she wears the pantsuit very well.
She wears the pants.
She does wear the pants.
She's got a touch of that, doesn't she? Like,
What are you saying about poor Jeanette?
I'm not saying anything, but it has been documented that she is one of the real, forces behind him, isn't she?
She's like a stage mum, except she's married to the guy. So, like, John Howard's her own little Jean-Benet Ramsey.
They certainly wouldn't have separate bank accounts, would they?
Separate bedrooms, I think, but certainly not bank accounts. Not that I know. Not that I know.
You would just prefer to think they've got separate bedrooms because the idea of them going at it hammer and tongs is too hideous to think about.
We've had a big show. We've had him having a dump in the shower.
Are you a Jeanette Howard fan?
I think, anyone who can wear a beige pantsuit like that has got balls.
Literally?
What are we saying about her? I mean, she's...
Oh, come on.
You're very defensive of Jeanette Howard, aren't you?
Yeah,
You love
I've got a
Jeanette.
soft spot for Jeanette. She reminds me of me nana.
Would she ever show any cleavage? Would she ever
Would
wear
she
a
wear
dress
this
like
dress?
I mean...
that? Well, we'd like to see her
We'd
wear
like-
a dress like that.
Could be
Well,
sort of...
But that's a sign, at least they're real. So we have this thing on
yeah.
Sunrise where you see these gorgeous women and you have Nat and Mel going, they're not moving, they're not real. And sort of, I didn't know what they were talking about before, but women are fixated on, I reckon, more than blokes on breasts.
Yeah, I can
Really?
spot
Whether they
fake breasts
move or
at 10 paces, definitely.
Can you?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's the whole
I
movement
grew
thing?
up, I had big boobs ever since I was little. And
You
I
move quite
went
well,
through
may I
a
say.
lot. I grew these myself.
There's something hypnotic about the move. I mean, let's.
Yes, it's time to award the coveted Glasshouse trophy, which this week is called... And the winners of the Rex Hunt Memorial Furry Fire of Love are researchers from the Broad Institute at Cambridge at Massachusetts who believe our human ancestors did some serious interbreeding with the ancestors of chimpanzees. You cheeky little monkey. Now I know why I'm attracted to hairy girls who like bananas. Neither of those things is true. Early man and monkey even had offspring known as Mankey. Because it is. So the trophy goes to the hot chimp loving boffins. You'd be surprised what a prehensile tail can do for your sex life. And if you're not surprised, you should probably be in prison. Well, that's the way it is for Wednesday, May the 31st. Thank you, Shelley. Thank you, Koshi. And let's take a look at tomorrow's headlines. According to Le Monde, Brad and Angelina's baby to have a mixed life. Half the jollies, half the pits. The Fin Review says brothels want smoking exemption. Friction-related smoke, sometimes unavoidable. And in USA Today, Michael Jackson visits Japanese orphanage, or as he likes to call it, sushi train. Good night.
On Friday, don't miss Coupling's Richard Coyle as you've never seen him before in a chilling...